Welcome everyone. Welcome to the StreamYard Spotlight Show. This is my co-host, Kelsey Bentz, and my name is Dana Bentz. I am the head of marketing here at StreamYard, and this is my sister, Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Bentz. I work in customer success here at StreamYard.
Yeah, and so our show, we do these weekly community group shows. We call them the StreamYard Spotlight, and the purpose of our shows are each week we interview a different community member, a different user of StreamYard, and we kind of just like to highlight the interesting ways people are using StreamYard in their business, to grow their brand, to grow their community, to support a hobby. There's really unlimited ways you can use StreamYard, but we like to take this time to get to know you guys, the users of StreamYard, to show you neat ways to use StreamYard. So today, very exciting guest, we have on Alan Locher. He is from the Locher Room, so we are pleased to announce Alan Locher. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
How are you? Oh,
I'm well,
absolutely.
thanks.
Good. So we have several questions, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit of a background on you. Like, where did you come from? Why are you live streaming, and what are you up to now?
Sure. Well, I'm a PR and marketing guy. I was working for a company in New York City called On Location Tours. We did TV and movie tours, but due to the coronavirus, I was laid off during this time and had some extra time on my hands. Yeah. And my previous job prior to going to On Location Tours, I was the head of PR for As the World Turns and Guiding Light. And on April 1st, I was sort of just sitting at home thinking about As the World Turns, which had an anniversary on April 2nd. And was thinking about maybe doing something on Instagram with some of my friends from the show, and had reached out to one of the actors, and he had suggested Michael Park used to star in Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway, and the cast of Dear Evan Hansen had used your platform. And so he recommended that I use StreamYard, and if I used StreamYard, I could incorporate more actors than just one. Instagram, you can only do the one-on-one live, Instagram live stories. Mm-hmm. So exactly. I basically signed up for StreamYard immediately, signed up to connect it to YouTube, and it took 24 hours to do so. Yep. And then my first show was with 5 cast members from As the World Turns on April 3rd. And I've been doing it ever since in the Locher Room.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you've gained quite a following since then. That's very impressive.
Exactly. Yeah, we have, I think it's over 7,000 now, something like that, subscribers.
Yeah, it's about 7.5. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think part of it is the shows that I worked on, which was my initial idea of doing this. I worked on Guiding Light and As the World Turns, have been off the air for 10 years. So a lot of the fans of those shows miss the people who acted on those shows. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, there were,
Exactly.
and especially right now, everybody was home and everybody,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's looking for a connection, I think. So it was sort of the perfect time to do it. It wasn't something you know, was planning to do, and you know,
Right. Yeah, I don't
And you
think any
said
of us
that
were planning it.
right,
Right,
exactly,
right. You said
yeah.
that you were originally planning to just have a one-on-one interview, is that right? And then because of the StreamYard platform, you were able to bring in more people, or how did that work?
Correct. My initial idea was to, you know, for the As the World Turns anniversary, I was going to do it on April 2nd and do some one-on-one interviews on Instagram.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
you know, when my friend suggested using StreamYard, that's, you know, I could incorporate, you know, so I've done one-on-ones, I've done, you know, a full 6 of us, because I know we can have 6, me plus 5 other folks.
That's right.
And
Yep.
then, you know, what the Daytime Cares event we did on May 9th to raise money for Feeding
Yeah.
America and DRAN, which we incorporated probably over 40 different actors over a 4-hour window that we hosted a live sort
Wow.
of event.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I want to talk about that event. So it was called the Daytime Cares event, right? And
Yeah,
it
Daytime
was
Cares, a live event.
a
Yeah,
live event. Yeah, I love that. And so you multi-streamed that one, right? So it
yeah.
went to how many platforms?
We did it on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
And we had actors from almost every show from daytime television, and some of them performed, some of them read, some of them read poems. Yeah, some of them we just interviewed.
So
That's brilliant.
you had 40 guests
I'm guessing off the top of my
somewhere in
head, I
there.
didn't. I mean, we had a lot of guests. I mean,
Yeah.
our initial Laura Wright, who's one of the actresses on General Hospital, it was her idea to sort of do this event to sort of give a virtual hug to the fans of the show who,
Yeah.
you know, are all in the same position we are all in right now. And she had reached out to Ari Zucker and Sean Christian from Days of Our Lives, who had already created a daytimecares.com website with the same intent that Laura had.
No way.
So the 4 of us worked together to produce this event, and you know, we just incorporated a lot of people. Our initial idea was maybe 2 to 2.5 hours, and
Wow.
you know, the best laid plans extended that to almost 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty impressive. So you had content for 4 hours. Like you had enough people lined up.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said there were interviews, some people were performing.
Yeah. We were
Yeah.
planning each guest, depending on what they did, 3 to 5 minutes. But as you start having a conversation, you know,
Yeah.
somebody's singing, you continue the conversation, and then navigating, you know, I was basically handling all of, I mean, I was the co-host with Laura, and then also navigating getting people backstage here through the
Yeah.
platform, you know, and because
Must have been chaos.
it was a little chaos. Part of it was asking people to come early, and I think
Right.
too many people were showing up too early because we had to kick them off to let the actually scheduled people in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, so part of that became challenging.
Yeah, so how did you manage, like, I know a lot of people on StreamYard think that you can only have 6 on the screen and that's it. Like they don't even know about the backstage area where you can hold up to 10 people total. So if you have 6 on the screen, you can only have 4 back there. But you're saying you had 40 on throughout the night. Like how did you manage the logistics of it?
Well,
Just being, you're the only host.
Well, Laura and I were hosting, but again, you know, there were times where an actor was performing and I would take Laura and I off screen so they would have the full screen to
Got it.
perform their song.
Right. Yep. Just like we could do to you when you start talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. But we had a schedule. I mean, we had created time slots for everybody. And, you know, with the actors, they were all great about showing up early. The problem is we asked them to come too early. So
Sure. Yeah. So that timed tiered approach is sort of what worked for you in terms of like you scheduled out the show how you thought it was going to go and then gave everyone
correct.
a time to click the link. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, and some of them, we asked them because of not everybody came early to test it out. We were available to test it out early, but that was the toughest part is people, if people were backstage, but they were in 30 minutes and the people who were right now weren't there, we had to kick some people off to get those people in. So there was a lot, like if somebody was performing, we were like texting each other, this one needs to get off the screen.
Yeah.
But it worked out really well. I mean, it was our first time. We actually, Laura and I had done a StreamYard for her show, General Hospital and Guiding Light. We had done a show, and afterwards she suggested that we do this. And basically that was April 27th, and less than 2 weeks later, we put this show together. So
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, but
Yeah. Well,
stressful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we raised money for some good, charities for Feeding America.
That's
and
wonderful.
for
That's the most important thing. Like you grew your reach so much, but it was for such a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had,
we're planning.
you had how many viewers? Do you remember how many viewers you had?
I think now we had throughout the night, basically about 3,000 viewers stayed with us for almost the entire 4 hours.
Wow.
It dwindled just slightly under 3. It was over 3, but towards the end, it probably went down a little. I mean, we never expected to be on that long.
Yeah.
But we were thankful, and we were, it was good. I mean, we had a diverse group of people. We also had folks on from the 2 charities to talk about, where the money was going. So
Yeah. Oh, this is a good
April
question.
has a question.
Yeah.
How much money did you end up raising?
Good question. She said she saw the event in an earlier comment, which is so fun that people from
did she? That's great. I don't know the exact amount. I'd say between the 2 charities over 10 grand is my guess. But it might, because the event is up on my YouTube channel. I'm hoping people who go back, because we still have the link up there for people if they wanted to.
You can still. I think I found it just by Googling Daytime Cares YouTube or something like that, and it pops up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So your Daytime Cares, it was just an event. It's not a show that's like a weekly thing by any means.
No, it was an event we produced for this specific time, and to share resources and opportunity for folks to raise money for those 2 great charities. Duran is, I'm not going to get the full name right, but it's for the first responders.
Got it. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. That's so great.
That's so incredibly relevant and needed right now.
Yeah, I think it's Disaster Relief Assets Network is the full title. I just want to make sure I get that right, but I think it's Disaster Relief, but Duran, DRAN Network.
Great.
Got it.
So, Alan, I'm wondering, going forward, what do you plan to keep using StreamYard for? Like, are you sort of doing the same kind of types of shows that you have been doing, or do you have a different plan for the future? Or
So the majority of my shows have been basically my initial idea was to reunite cast members from the shows I worked on.
Great.
But
Yeah, I
because
love
fans have missed other shows, All My Children, One Life to Live, Search for Tomorrow, Another World, Passions, they're no longer on the air. So fans have been asking me to do other shows, which I've been trying to do. I just today did 4 ladies from One Life to Live.
Great.
Next Tuesday, I've got 2 guys from The Young and the Restless.
I love that. Yeah.
So I've been trying to do some more, and I'm trying to think of other things that interest me that I think would interest the people tuning in as well. Not just, daytime, but, possibly prime time if I can find some actors who would agree to do it.
Alan, I think that's just so cool because, obviously right now we're in this pandemic, in this quarantine, and there's so little new TV content that's coming out because no one can shoot. And also the shows that you are dealing with have been off the air for years anyway. But just in general, there's not a lot of new content coming on for viewers to watch because we are shut down. So I just think it's so awesome, your idea to bring these performers together, because essentially, like, while they're not on a traditional TV set doing episodes, they are coming together and you're making content with them for the viewers. Like, you are making the new content that people can watch. So I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
And
You know,
this,
it's-
John just says, where can we watch you? Where can we find your channel?
Oh, yes.
It's the Locher Room on YouTube.
The Locher Room. Perfect.
Yeah.
But Loch, is that right?
Loch, my last name, correct.
Yep, yes.
Like
I
your
should have
last
put that
name.
in the thing. Yeah, there you
Yep.
go. Yeah, it's not, like I said, it wasn't something I had planned. And the other thing, I don't know if you two ladies have watched soap operas. Daytime audiences are used to these people being in their living rooms 5 days a week. You know,
Right.
a primetime show is once a week for maybe 13 weeks.
Right.
These shows air usually about 255 episodes a year. They really are family. So,
Yeah.
you know, right now when people are separated from their family, you know, there were two additional bonuses for me that came out of this. Was the actors are really enjoying seeing their co-stars and their
bet.
their friends,
Yeah.
but it's also people who I worked with behind the scenes who
Yeah.
are also stuck at home like us, you
Yeah.
know, who are getting to see the people they used to work with.
Yeah.
So it's really cheered everybody, you know, not just
I bet.
Yeah.
fans of the show, but all of us who worked on the shows as well. So that's
Yeah.
been an added bonus for me.
Yeah, that's
That's
so
awesome.
fun. That's
Yeah.
so fun. Just like bringing community together, you know, when we're all just stuck home alone, you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, I know from some of the actors, you know, they've been separated from their spouses just because of,
That's hard.
you know, they were off somewhere. But that must mean fans are separated from their families, you know,
Totally.
can't see their families.
Totally.
So in some respect, seeing these people who they consider family,
Yeah.
you know, I can tell from the responses that I keep getting that it's, you know,
Yeah.
really helped them right now. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's what's made it worth the work, because, you know,
Yeah.
it's
a lot
me
of work.
doing it all.
Right.
You know, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it. I mean, I did get my start working on a talk show on Regis and Kathy Lee many decades
Oh, no
ago.
way.
How fun.
That's awesome.
That's
You
so
know,
fun.
and there's a staff there. You know, I'm doing the research, the booking, publicizing it, hosting it. You know, it's
yeah.
Right. That's
but it's
all
fun.
on you.
It's fun and teaching me a
Yeah.
whole new, you know, a whole new platform.
Well, and
yeah.
another thing I just wanted to add is like, though we're all far away from each other, in a way, these types of reunions are even more intimate than the shows themselves, because
Yeah.
the fans are able to see the stars in their living rooms, you know, in their whatever they chose to wear. You know, it's a performance, but it's also a lot more real than, you know, something that's televised and edited and all of that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think,
it is true. I mean,
Yeah.
they're sitting there in their living room or on the couch or, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
all of that. It's correct.
It just
We're
makes it
all-
so much more. It makes it so much more human. Like they can get to know, the fans can get to know these people who were on TV, and especially the fact, I don't know how much like live Q&A you're doing with the fans, or if you just have all your questions that you think the fans want to hear from the actors, but that engagement that you can have with the comments section is it must be so nice for the fans.
It is. I do try to get to them, but it's difficult because,
Yeah.
you know, as I'm trying to pay attention to the, you know,
Yeah.
5 people on screen to also be reading to the right, you know,
And then also
present. But I-
scheduling the next person who's supposed to come on at the same time.
Right. Well, and the other thing with the questions is, you know, if people, and you know, I love that you mentioned community. They are a community. They, you know, social media wasn't really that big when my shows were on the air, and a lot of fans have come together through social media. You know, now
Yeah.
they've found each other. They talk about the shows that used to be on the air. And so they're actually having conversations as well while we're having a conversation.
Right.
So I don't always see questions because they're actually conversing. So I'm seeing a lot of their, oh, I love them, or I love that story, or, you know, it's not a
Yes.
question that's flying by on when I happen to look over. It's they're having a conversation. So sometimes I miss some of their questions, but I do try to, and I've asked people in advance too now to try and get some questions in advance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's smart, because then you can get to the ones that you really want to show. Like I know
Correct.
it's pretty tough, especially for the people like you who get tons of comments, you know, through the whole show. It's so hard to, you want to be able to like grab a couple of them, like, oh, these are really good questions. But when there's like tons flying by, it can be really hard. Can be really hard to manage. But I know for most people that's not their problem. We're getting just a few comments coming in. You know, we can keep up.
Yeah, it's completely challenging when, you know, they're just commenting, and I get it, you know, and, you know, I try, you know, that's the best you can do is try to incorporate it when you can.
Well, that's a
But
great idea
I
to do it beforehand. I think that's a
Yeah,
great
that's what
idea.
I have done. And it helps me too, especially on shows that I wasn't as familiar with. You know, the two shows I worked on, I know a good amount of information on everybody.
Yeah.
But the shows that I didn't, or the actors that I don't know personally, it is helpful. It's helpful to get another perspective. So
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. So we're almost out of time, but I want to ask, how are you going about finding all these new guests for every show every week? Like, is your network just that big already from all your years on TV?
to some degree, I have a very good friend who I will give him a very large shout out, John Wood, who works for E! Entertainment Television. He is a soap fan, and he has loved what I have been doing, and he has been very generous with, you know, finding, you know, because I'll reach out to a PR person, an agent, a manager, and just send a note and ask. And I mean, that's basically how Susan Lucci happened. I mean, I don't know Susan at all, but I was a page at ABC when she was at All My Children. And I just reached out to her PR person, and they loved the concept, and then they, you know, said she would love it, and she had a blast.
That's awesome.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and Kathy Lee, I worked with and was hoping I could get her, and had been talking to her assistant, my friend Christine, and she pulled through. You know, that was a last minute.
Wow.
You know, and I had literally just finished an As the World Turns show, and like 15 minutes later, she was like, "Oh, she's free if you would like her now."
And you were like, "Of course I do."
Yeah, because I don't know with everybody's schedule if I would be able to get her again.
Of course.
So for me, I was like, yes, give me time to run to the bathroom. And I'll be back.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And that one I did immediately on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. The other thing I did want to mention as well about Daytime Cares, Guiding Light every year does a charity event in person in New York where they try to raise money for the Autism Society of America. And because of the pandemic, we're not going to be able to do it in person this year. So we're actually going to have a virtual Bauer barbecue on June 27th from, I believe, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern on the platform where I don't know that we'll have performers, but we're going to have people coming in and out to say hello and answer questions and talk to the fans and raise money for the Autism Society of America.
That's
we've
wonderful.
got a good lineup, and it'll be the same thing. I'm going to try to, you know, put people together and schedule them and navigate the whole thing. And we have 3 hosts, Jerry Verdorn, Liz Kiefer, and Michael O'Leary, 3 actors from the show.
Wow. Oh, how
So
fun.
we'll be doing.
And is that streaming to your channel as well, at the Locker Room?
We'll do it on, I think, since to stream, it'll stream live to the YouTube channel and to Facebook as well.
Great.
Yeah, because we, you know, I definitely want to raise money for the Autism Society.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Wow, how neat. Alan, thank you so much for
so much
sharing
for having me.
for sharing all you've done, all you're doing with StreamYard. It's so neat to hear how the platform's being used.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to do it all without you, Dana.
Aw,
You've been
thank you.
helpful. So
Thank
thanks.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
appreciate
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And
It was lovely meeting you.
if you're
You
if
too,
you're
Kat.
tuning
Take
in,
care.
if you're tuning in to watch the replay, we've talked a lot about bringing in a lot of guests to the show. So be sure to watch the whole episode. But we will see you next week on the next episode of the StreamYard Spotlight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks again, Alan.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye.